All right, so it's a beautiful morning and we have quite a few things to do today. My goal is to get the engine out of the car today. So we have quite a few things to take care of. We got to remove the intake, we got to remove the AC system. The AC compressor, I believe, is broken on this. The old owner said that it's not working, which is fine because we can't run a turbo with the AC system in the vehicle anyway, at least not with this turbo kit that we have for the vehicle. So all that's coming out. Then we're gonna start taking apart everything that needs to be taken apart. And hopefully we'll be able to pull the motor today. I do have some more parts right here on the floor, but we will go through them later as we have even more parts that should be arriving today. So for now, let's get started on the teardown and removing everything and getting this motor out of the car. So for the intake, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is remove this clamp right here, which is an 8mm, or you can use a flathead. Remove this connector, this sensor, and then you remove this hose, and then it just pops right out. Should come right out. So there were way more hoses in this thing than I realized. Look, they had a hose connected here, a hose connected here. It looked like they were vacuum lines. Not really sensors, only one was a sensor. And I believe there was one connected here too. I think the sensor was connected here. I'm probably gonna end up getting a new intake kit because this one looks kind of raggedy and not certain what he had set up there going on. So we'll get a new setup for the intake, something a little nicer, something a little cleaner. And yeah, let's continue. All right, so next line of order is we're gonna remove this shield and the manifold. We'll have to get on the bottom as well. To remove the shield, you got those two bolts that I showed you up top. And then you also have, I don't know if you guys can see it, this bolt right here, and my finger's touching. So we'll have to remove that, the two top ones. And while we're down here removing that bolt, we'll get the downpipe removed as well, because that will have to come out. And we'll also see if we can get the O2 sensor detached. So I'll put it on time lapse and you guys can watch me do that. So we did have to move the cardboard out the way because the diff fluid was just kind of annoying. It's all drained out anyway. I left it to drain for like the past week. So it's all pretty much good. And I got this little work mat that I've had for quite a while. We're gonna take this and we're gonna spread it underneath the car so we could have a somewhat clean section to work on. Sorry about the bad angle, guys. I was kind of in the way in the time lapse. But just to show you really quick. So we got all the bolts removed. I did leave one nut inside on it just so it wouldn't fall. And then we got these two removed. I did the two wrench method. Since it's different sizes, a 12 on this side, 14 on this side. We just get two wrenches and turn the opposite way and pretty much break them loose. That's them right there. I gotta organize them. Now we just have to take off the O2 sensor and then downpipe should drop right out. We also remove these two bolts for this bracket. Pretty simple. And yeah, if you guys ever want to do work on your car, I highly suggest investing in one of these. impact wrenches, electrical, they are a lifesaver. I was trying to use it for all the bolts. It wouldn't fit because it's so bulky. That's the only downfall, and it's a little heavy too. But man, is it powerful. Definitely better than any pneumatic impact wrench that I've ever used. Now for the O2 sensor, it is going to be a 22 wrench. So you want to put a 22 wrench right there, and you just, lefty-loosey, and it should come right out. All right, so this sensor is being a pain in the butt. Doesn't want to come off. I'm not gonna fight with it. So what we're just gonna do is there's a connector right here. Just gonna disconnect it from the sensor. Make sure when you're pulling these connectors, you never pull from the wires. Always pull it from the housing. There we go. And then there's a little bracket here. You just pop it up. And that's it. Now let's get this bad boy removed. Nice and easy. And now let's get to removing the AC system. I'm gonna remove the shield. I'm gonna remove the manifold. That'll complete the exhaust section that we gotta remove, and then we can start on the AC system. That wasn't so bad. So we have it right here. That is the old manifold. We do have a new manifold that comes with the turbo kit. And yeah, came off pretty easy. There were 9 bolts, I believe. Organized right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5 on the bottom, 4 on the top. Pretty simple, pretty easy. So looking at the system, it's a lot more intricate than I thought. So we got the lines going into the condenser there, coming all the way around. There should be the compressor there, which I'm pretty sure is dead and looked like they leaked out all the Freon. We do have to test to make sure there's nothing in the system, because it is illegal to remove the contents inside the system into the air because it's harmful. So I need to test to make sure it's depressurized, there's nothing in the system. I'm certain it is because the compressor has been bad for quite some time and the car's been sitting for at least 2 years. So I'm 99% certain there's nothing in this system, but we still got to test it. But I think it'd be easier for us to do that and remove the whole system when the engine's out of the car. So let's start removing the main components so we can get the engine out. I'm going to start with the radiator and the fan. Get all this moved out, the hoses out the way. We did drain all the coolant earlier, but I will still put the bucket underneath just in case there's any remnants still left in the system. And yeah, so we're just gonna move this hose right here. We are going to remove this hose right here. And then a couple of bolts here, some on the bottom, and it should come right out. So let's get that done. Well, that took all of 2 minutes. Way easier than I thought. I was gonna remove them separately, but it was super easy to just remove it as a whole assembly. Took out the hose that went to this pipe. Took out the hose that went down here to this pipe. It was just 2 clamps with this bad boy here. And then just the bracket. It was a bracket here that just held it down, secured it. And that's it. I was gonna remove the fan, but I didn't have to remove the fan. Didn't have to remove any bolts. The radiator sits in these 2 holes here, and you just pull everything up. And here it is. Removed all as one unit, and literally took me 2 minutes. All right, so next up, we are going to get the power steering out of the way. Should be pretty simple. We're gonna remove this. This is the ground bolt for the engine. We're also gonna remove the ground for the transmission while we're at it. So we'll get those two grounds out the way. And then we are going to loosen out this bolt, take it out. And then we're gonna loosen out this bolt. And once we get this bolt loose, we should be able to take the belt off because this will move. And then we could take the power steering pump and move it out the way. And our goal is to get as much things off of the engine as we can. Obviously, we are getting rid of the bottom end and getting a new one. So we want to make sure we can salvage as much from this bottom end so we could put on to the new bottom end. So I'll get that done and see you guys in a bit. Next thing we're gonna do is remove the starter. It's pretty simple. Let's see if I get it. All right, so it's that bolt right there. And then it's this tiny bolt. And then this bolt here is the power, or grounds the power, sends power to the starter, is the bolt holding it in. So we gotta remove that bolt as well. And then we should be able to remove the starter fully. Got the starter out, which is awesome. But for some reason, I thought these bolts, I already took this one out, was part of the mount that was holding it in. I don't know why. When I knew one of them was big, the other one should have been big too. So, new mistake. You know, if you're not certain what you're doing, usually the bolts are around the same size. So if you see different size bolts, they're probably for something else. So I'm gonna quickly secure this bolt and put this bolt back in so that we don't let anything get inside there. And yeah, starter's out. Also, here's a little tip I learned a long time ago. So in terms of organization, you know, I like to be organized. You see that? Ziploc bags. They are super cheap and just keeps things super easy. Label them, you know, power steering and ground bolts and nuts in there. This is the starter bag, so all the starter bolts that I took out are in there. It just makes things so easy. You don't lose anything. You don't have to wonder which bolt goes where. Just try and keep things organized. I'm gonna keep this up with all the rest of the bolts. Those are all the clips for the bumper. And then over there, I got some bolts I gotta organize. But yeah. It's always good to keep things organized. It makes things a whole lot easier. Okay, so next up, we're gonna start disconnecting some things from the intake side. We're gonna remove this hose that's connected to the brake booster. We're gonna remove the throttle cable. I'm probably not gonna mess with these because that's gonna mess with the adjustment. Just gonna take the bracket off. I'm gonna take this bolt off, I believe, and then this should come out. And then we're also gonna start taking apart the connectors. So any connectors that connected to the block, we're gonna start removing, getting the harness all taken off, and getting it ready to come out. I think we're getting close there. Also, gotta remove some of the hoses that runs to the heater core. Like this one runs to the firewall, to the heater core. We're gonna remove them on the engine side. Like I said, we're trying to get everything off the engine side and leave as much in the engine bay as we can. And then later on, we can go back and remove what we need to from the engine bay and clean it up. But yeah, let's get it going. So look who just pulled up. It's my boy Jeff. So I actually spoke about his car in the past. I said he had two D series. This is one of them. This is the turbo. This is where I get my inspiration from. So he came out to help, and as soon as he get here, I don't know if you guys saw, I was struggling with these two sensors. It wouldn't pop off, and he comes and just pop, pop, knocks them off. Ridiculous, making me look bad. But yeah, we're gonna continue getting the rest of the sensors off, and then we're gonna take off the fuel line, main fuel line, and should be just about ready to get him out of the car. All right, I just struggled with what is called the bitch pin.
So as you can tell, we have Travis here struggling with the bitch pin.
This fucking thing, bro. Earns his name, that's for certain.
Come out.
Yeah, I feel it now. That wasn't that bad.
There you go.
Jeff got that on video because my camera was dying. But now we're about to drop the shift linkage. So that's where the bitch pin was, and he's about to release it. It just, the boot's holding it. There we go. Come on now.
If anything, you can push that shifter fork, that lever, forward.
This one?
It gives it more space.
So there's the other shifter linkage we just removed. It's only 110, or 12, I believe. And we just take the bolt out and it falls right out. Way easier than that one.
Travis doesn't want to use the cheater bar to get this bolt off.
Nope. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm lightheaded, bro. Shit, if I could use my right hand, I would. It'd be a lot better. Position.
We wonder why.
Use the fucking cheater bar, right? Don't be cheating, guys. That's how you get broken tools. All right, we're getting the engine stand or engine hoist ready. We're just about ready to get the engine out of the vehicle. Go over what we did real quickly. So we had to remove the slave, disconnect the lines from the AC, remove most of the connectors from the engine, take off the injector connectors. There was a bunch of bolts and brackets behind here underneath the intake that we had to get mainly from the bottom of the vehicle. Remove these two hoses from the heater core. And that was pretty much it. And then we started taking off some of the bolts for the mounts on this side. Which one? So we loosened these up. We haven't done the other side yet. Then we had to take off all the connections for the alternator. I don't know if you guys can see. Jeff making all the noise in the background. But that's pretty much it. And now it's just about ready to come out. So I'm gonna set the camera up and we're gonna do that.
How you feeling?
That was a bitch. And we broke the sensor. So we got it out. I guess it's not really broken, it's just the problems came out.
The connector came off. Just gotta repin it.
Other than that, pretty good. The engine is gone and it's on here. Man, that was a pain in the butt. Yeah, first time removing an engine, not as easy as everyone makes it out to believe. Maybe if you removed it like 20,000 times, then yeah, it'll be easy. But for someone who's never done it before, don't believe them, it's fucking hard. We only broke one sensor back here. I'm not certain what it's for, but luckily it wasn't the harness, it was just the sensor itself that sits in the engine. So it'll be an easy replace. And we also kind of ripped the prongs out of this one, but Jeff said that's an easy one to fix. So other than that, everything else went pretty smooth. We had to remove some clamps. AC compressor got stuck on this, so we had to remove some bolts here. But for the most part, it's out. Now we gotta remove the head. We already got the transmission off. So we just gotta remove the head, remove the clutch, and then we're off to get the new block.